We're going to be talking about your project manager this morning, which is your liver. You've just gone into your second day of detox and your liver is very busy today. It's gone into a different stage of detox. And as it goes through this stage, I'm going to be explaining to you what's happening in your liver. Your liver I call the project manager because on a job site, all the plumbers come to the project manager, the painters come to the project manager. The project manager is orchestrating the job site. So that's what your liver's doing. It's orchestrating the job site, of course, which is the human body.
Did you know the liver is the only organ in the human body that can regenerate itself? It can regrow to its normal size even after up to 90% of it has been removed. This superhero organ isn't just the largest inside you. It's your ultimate defense system, vital for detoxing and even stopping cancer in its tracks. In this video, Dr. Barbara O'Neill reveals how a healthy diet can save your life, boost your liver health, help you lose weight, and even fight the deadliest diseases like cancer. So don't skip, stay tuned, watch till the end, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Why your liver is your body's manager.
A few facts on the liver. The liver is the largest internal organ in the body, and the liver is the only organ in the body that has the ability to regrow. And when you understand the liver, when you understand what it does, and it's the role that it plays, you'll understand why God made it so. You see, cancer cannot get a hold on the body if the liver's working in optimum performance. So those pieces of information alone make it very important that we human beings know something about the house we live in, especially your liver. Your liver is under your right rib. And if it's not happy when you push it, it'll go, don't. Is that right? Very simple test. And you can see that I'm pushing my fingers way up under my ribs there. But I don't have any discomfort at all. If you have any discomfort, no need to fear. You're in a detox and your liver's very happy. Sorry, not very happy because it's very busy. It's very busy helping you to detox. But it'll certainly recover. So what I want to do before I show you what the liver's doing today, I want to show you what it does with everything that comes into the body. So environmental poisons coming into the body, everything goes straight to the liver. And if it's toxic, the liver says, whoa, nasty guy, wrap him up in fat and store him. And if the liver looks at it and says, no, we can break that down to a state that can be easily released, that is what it will do.
So, did you get your answer to why the liver is called the project manager? It's because it takes care of essential tasks like clearing toxins, turning food into energy, storing nutrients, and protecting against infections, just like a manager keeping everything organized and running perfectly. But wait, what about food? Which foods can the liver handle, and which ones can't it handle? Is your liver struggling with carbs? Find out why you're gaining weight.
What about food? Let me show you what it does with the food that comes in. And never in the history of mankind have human beings eaten so many carbohydrates. So we're going to do a carbohydrate assessment. And I want you to tell me what most Americans had for breakfast this morning. Yeah, toast. So here we've got bread. Cereal's a very popular one. One lady said egg. Sorry, no one cooks anymore. Is that right? This takes into consideration the donuts, the biscuits, the cakes, the pastries, the pies, all of that. And pizza. When I was a little girl, I didn't know what a pizza was. I don't think I knew what a pizza was till I was about 20. So I'm a baby of the 50s, 60s, so they weren't really around then. Same with pasta. I don't think there's a home today that doesn't have pasta. Would that be right? And rice is another carbohydrate. Potatoes. That's a high carbohydrate food. And last and certainly least in nutritive value is the pure crystallized acid that's extracted from the sugarcane plant. Now, would you agree with me, students, that Americans have become high carbohydrate consumers? Yes. Now, I say become because I don't think anyone chose to eat this way. It was just there, it's just easy. We're such a fast society today, and many people don't think about their lunchtime till they're hungry, or their evening meal till they're hungry. And there's no time to soak the legumes and cook the legumes. There's no time to steam the vegetables. They just want food now. So I think it's something that is just, you could say, evolved. And it's got to the point where these are very popular foods, and we are getting the ramifications of that, and people are starting to think, now what's happening here? What's happening here? The first person that blew the whistle on it really was probably in the 80s, Dr. Robert Atkins. You've heard of Dr. Robert Atkins? Yeah. Now his book, it hit the press, and it became New York Times best-selling cookbook 4 years running. Wow. The nutritionists and the doctors hated him. Someone loved him. Who loved him? The people. You know why they loved him? It worked. His story is fascinating. He's a GP in his 40s, putting on a bit of weight, and of course that's what this will do.
Your liver is like a superhero managing your body's food system. Every bite you eat goes through this amazing organ. And right now, we're overloading it with carbs. Bread, cereals, donuts, pasta. These weren't even common foods 50 years ago. Now they're everywhere. Dr. Robert Atkins discovered something shocking. Our high-carb diet is making us sick and fat. When you eat too many carbohydrates, your liver can't handle it. What happens? Extra sugar gets stored as fat. That's why people are getting bigger every year. That's why you are gaining weight unintentionally. But let me show you the process in detail. What happens to your body when you eat too many carbs? Unhealthy diet.
All of these foods break down in the gastrointestinal tract to a singular structure called glucose. Now the glucose goes on the M1 main highway portal vein straight to the project manager. And then the project manager determines where this glucose goes. And it'll take it inside the cell. Remember I promised you we'll be going to the CBD every day? So the glucose goes inside the cell. It goes through a 20-step pathway. The 20-step pathway gives us 2 units of energy. Isn't that why we eat? Now the end result of that 20-step pathway is a chemical form of glucose called pyruvate. Pyruvate is the chemical form of glucose that gets fed into the next section of the cell, often called the powerhouse, because this little 8-step pathway delivers to us a whopping 36 units of energy. So the question now arises, why does a 20-step pathway only give us 2 units, and why does an 8-step pathway give us 36 units of energy? The difference is oxygen. This is called an anaerobic pathway. Anaerobic because it doesn't use oxygen. It produces energy by the process of fermentation. That's where a cancer cell lives. So the first place that the liver will send the glucose, number 1, is to the cell to be burnt as fuel. But on a high carbohydrate diet, you got a lot of glucose left over. And so now the body stores it in what I call the most amazing fuel, quick fuel supply in the body. It's called glycogen. They're little molecules of glucose. So on a high carbohydrate diet, we've still got glucose left over because the cell can only store so much. By the way, the liver stores a little bit, and this glycogen can be sent all over the body, whereas the glycogen that's in the muscle cell, it's like in a prison, it can only be used by the muscle cell. And what's happening to Americans today? Whew. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The third place that the liver will send that excess glucose is as fat.
I think you got it. Dr. Barbara O'Neill explains the journey of glucose in your body. When you eat, glucose travels to your liver, which decides whether to burn it for energy, store it as glycogen, or turn it into fat. A high-carb diet can lead to excess glucose being stored as fat, which is why people gain weight. So, what should we eat if we don't want to gain weight or damage our liver? Can cutting carbs help fight cancer and other diseases? Alternative diet and weight lose.
He decided to do an experiment on himself. He decided to stop all carbohydrates. What did he eat? He ate a lot of vegetables, okay? And a lot of people don't realise that, with the exclusion of the potato. So he was eating a lot of fibre. And he knew also that the gastrointestinal tract needed to move through the next two food groups. He ate a lot of meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs. So there was his protein. And meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs was also supplying another food group, which was fat. Fibre binds up the glucose and it slowly releases it. Protein, well, protein's broken down specifically in the stomach. And fat, it coats the food a little bit, so it takes a little bit longer to break down. That's good news, because it means we don't have to be eating all day long. We can eat and forget about food for the next 5 or 6 hours.
Dr. Atkins experimented with cutting carbs and ate mostly vegetables, meat, butter, cream, cheese, and eggs. This helped him lose weight because his liver used fat stores for energy instead of glucose. But how can we cure our cancer and other diseases? Could a low-carb diet cure cancer and reverse disease? Find out. What Dr. Atkins discovered. Recovery of diabetic and cancer patients.
Within 6 months, he had all his patients on the diet. After a year, a few things started happening which he was unprepared for. His cancer patients were going into remission. How so? Do you remember what cancer cells are consuming? 15 times the glucose of any other cell. This is a low glucose diet. His diabetics were coming off their medication. This is type 1 and type 2 diabetics. Absolutely there was weight loss. You might be surprised at the next one. His patients on with high cholesterol levels came back to normal. And what are they eating? Meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs. And this is what he found, that these 3 food groups are the essential food groups.
Dr. Atkins found that many of his patients experienced surprising results on his low-carb diet. Cancer patients went into remission, diabetics, both type 1 and 2, came off medication, and even people with high cholesterol saw their levels normalize. This diet focused on eating meat, butter, cream, cheese, and eggs, which confused Dr. Atkins because people said these foods raise cholesterol. But after looking back at medical books, he realized that protein and fat are important for health. The main question now is, where can we get these fibers, proteins, and fats? And how can we maintain the health of our liver and get rid of cancer, etc.? Essential foods and tips to protect your liver from disease.
We're going to have a look at the food, we're going to have a look at the protein content and the carbohydrate content. God says, behold, I've given you every herb-bearing seed. So what's a seed? That would be grain. A seed would be legume, like often called the beans. And a seed would also be seed. So let's look at grain. You've got wheat, rye, barley, oats, amaranth, buckwheat, quinoa, so many, rice, so many grains. They are high in protein, but they are also high in carbohydrates. So let's glance over at our carbohydrate list. How many of these are from grain? So we've got grain, grain, grain. We could say grain, 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 because all the cake section, grain, grain, grain. The majority of our carbohydrate list is from the grain department. What's a legume? That's your chickpeas, lima beans, black-eyed beans, cannellini beans. Well, you call them black-eyed peas, don't you? Lentils, soy. They are high in protein, but interesting to note that they are medium to low in carbohydrate. Wow. That is interesting, because if you go to the modern Atkins books, which is your keto diet, your ketogenic diet, your paleo diet, they will say don't eat legumes because they have carbohydrates. Well, they do, but not a lot. Only a third what you will find in the grain. What about seed? You've got pumpkin seed, sesame seed, sunflower seed, chia seed, flaxseed or linseed. These seeds are high in protein, but they are quite low in carbohydrate. So God said, behold, I've given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree. In the which of the trees a fruit-bearing seed? What's a fruit-bearing seed? There's your nut. All your nuts come from the fruit of the tree. And we've got, you say, pecan, we say pecan, walnuts, cashew, Brazil, hazelnut, almond, so many nuts. And the nuts are high in protein, but quite low in carbohydrate. So to ensure you're getting your three essentials, the fibre, protein and fat, my suggestion is you increase the legume, nut, seed part of the meal and decrease the grain part of the meal. That's an easy way to do it.
So, I think you've noted everything, Doctor, Barbara said. But here are a few extra tips and foods you should consider to keep your liver healthy and protect it from diseases like cancer. To keep your liver healthy, focus on a balanced diet with proteins, healthy fats, and carbs. Include leafy greens like spinach and kale, and some vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower to help detoxify your liver. Add garlic for extra liver support. Lean proteins such as fish, chicken, and beans help repair liver cells and boost metabolism. Whole grains like brown rice and oats provide energy and fiber. For liver-friendly juices, try fresh beet, carrot, and lemon. They're packed with antioxidants. Drink coconut water to flush out toxins, and enjoy green tea to reduce inflammation. So, keeping all these tips in mind, it's clear that taking care of your liver is essential for overall health and disease prevention. A balanced diet, rich in proteins, healthy fats, and fiber, along with liver-supporting foods and juices, can work wonders. If you found this information helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with friends and family. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your thoughts or any questions you have about maintaining liver health. Stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next video.